Ah! Greetings, brethren, CloakingDonkey here, and I really wanted to make a completely different video today, namely my Historically Speaking on Expeditions Viking, which I've been working on for over a week, but this shit comes up. And as someone who has made content for another wargaming property in the past, namely World of Warships, and definitely still having some of those subscribers stick around till today, I love you guys by the way, I thought I'd give you my take on all of this and some of the experiences I had with wargaming. So let's start with a quick rundown on what happened. SirFoch is a YouTuber who does content for World of Tanks, a game run and developed by Wargaming.net. SirFoch in a lot of ways is kind of like me when I made content for World of Warships, namely he has a bit of a love-hate relationship with the game. He really loves the game, but he absolutely doesn't enjoy how it's run a lot of the time, and he has a lot of problems with what Wargaming does business-wise, just as I did, and just like a lot of other people have as well. Recently, Wargaming released a new premium tank. A premium tank basically is one that you have to buy with real money. All other tanks you can unlock in the game just by playing, but these premium tanks are only available if you open your wallet. Now usually these premium tanks are supposed to be at least a little bit worse than the ones you can unlock in game, although sometimes they veer in the area of just as good or sometimes better than normal tanks. And those are of course problem cases. And SirFoch did not like this recent tank that was released for various reasons. And unlike usually, he made a very short video where he really just slagged the tank, the design, and the designers, i.e. Wargaming, off a bit. A link to the original video is in the description if you want to check it out yourself. But the biggest offenses in there basically being that he says "fuck you Wargaming," calls the gun on this tank AIDS, and has a few other naughty words to say about it. Now what is the big problem with this? Well, Wargaming apparently, through Phelan, someone I also had contact with in the past, so I know he is actually a Wargaming employee, contacted SirFoch and told him to take the video down because it was so incredibly unfair and such naughty words were spoken. I have the screenshots up for you in the background so you can check it out yourself, but Phelan basically goes ahead in his official Wargaming EU employee capacity and tells SirFoch to take the video down or they will contact YouTube and have his video flagged with a copyright strike and will stop him from ever making content for World of Tanks ever again. So SirFoch actually does go ahead and take the video down, and I can tell you exactly why he did this, because when you start doing this YouTube stuff, just like I'm doing, you start to kind of rely on the money you are making from this, even if it's just a little bit. So SirFoch is also not a huge YouTuber, and I'm of course an even smaller YouTuber, and I have a job besides YouTube, but I still do rely on that little bit of money I do get from YouTube and my other sources. And beside that, creating content on YouTube and Twitch has become part of my life. It's what I do. I actually really enjoy this, and I'm sure even though SirFoch has problems with the game, he still very much enjoys making these videos. That's what he said in his follow-up video as well. So when somebody in an official capacity for the game that you make content for comes along and threatens you to take away your ability to make content for this game, then that is going to scare the shit out of you. And it has to be said, smaller YouTubers like SirFoch, like myself, and like so many others, we have absolutely no safety net. If a company like Wargaming decides to hand out copyright strikes for our videos, there is no one we can turn to. Sure, we can appeal to YouTube, but I mean, the last couple of months should have shown that YouTube really doesn't give that much of a shit about any of its creators. They're totally willing to demonetize anything just to make their platform more advertiser-friendly. And while they certainly sometimes will provide help to larger channels, you know, channels that have hundreds of thousands or maybe even millions of subscribers, smaller channels with only thousands or tens of thousands of subscribers, they fall by the wayside all the time. And Wargaming know this. They know that they can threaten smaller YouTubers and say, hey, listen, you are going to lose the ability to make the videos you like making because we don't like the things you say about us. And they know that most smaller content creators will absolutely counter this because that's just what you have to do to keep your channel alive. And I'm saying this because even if Wargaming really would not use copyright strikes against their content creators for things they don't like, the threat alone is the problem here. It is not whatsoever about whether or not they actually do these things. The threat alone is enough. And by the way, legally speaking, a threat can be just as much of a felony as the actual felony. I mean, you also can't just go up to someone and in detail describe how you're going to murder them next week. That is just as much of a crime as actually committing the murder, even though it's maybe not quite as severe. And so I'm sorry, Wargaming, but I really don't give a shit about your so-called apology. Even if you capitalize the word apologize, it doesn't matter if your communication with SirFoch was about his vocabulary. And the video he made was certainly not slander. Slander is when you say something that isn't true. Fuck Wargaming is not slander. The correct way to apologize in this case would have been to put a big post in the news section of the World of Tanks Europe website and say, "We are sorry for threatening SirFoch with giving him a copyright strike on YouTube for saying things we didn't like. We are sorry that we acted like stroppy children and thugs." Some shitty offhanded forum post somewhere hidden away in your forums that practically only your diehard fans go to anyway, and that spent half the goddamn post trying to explain away why you did this, is not going to cut it. And also, if you want, I will put another link in the description with a video I made almost 2 years ago now when I left World of Warships, where I said that I suspected that Wargaming had somehow blacklisted me because they didn't like the things I had to say either. Now, to be fair, I didn't, and I still don't have any proof of this because it's very difficult to prove that you are being blacklisted if the people you are, trying to prove this of aren't actually talking to you. But it was pretty damn obvious that they had no intention whatsoever to communicate with me ever again. While that is absolutely fine, it is the kind of childish behavior I would expect from people who are also willing to threaten copyright strikes on videos they don't agree with. If fuck Wargaming offends you so much, maybe you should start thinking about why it is that people say these things about you. Maybe you should try and think, how could we change ourselves so that other people don't perceive us as such assholes anymore? I'm absolutely glad that I left World of Warships when I did. I'm sure if I had stuck it out and I would still be making World of Warships today, I could have grown my channel quite significantly, because I was actually doing pretty well with that game. But I said it back then and nothing has changed. I would rather be a small channel and still have my dignity than sell my soul to shit companies like Wargaming. I personally boycotted Gaijin for what they did to their YouTuber base. I didn't really talk about it at the time because I wasn't making content for War Thunder, but the moment I learned about that, I immediately deleted all traces of War Thunder from my PC, and I have no intention of ever going back to that game. And I gotta say, man, the same thing is going to be true now for Wargaming. This is absolutely despicable. You went after SirFoch personally. You didn't make a big stink about it. You didn't want to turn this into a legal battle. You went specifically targeted to him and told him, you do this or we will do that. You tried to browbeat him and threaten him into doing what you want because you know you have no legal basis for this, none whatsoever. Just like Gaijin didn't have any legal basis for the shit they did to their YouTubers. You simply know that YouTube is really weak right now and is really trying very hard to appease all of their corporate overlords with their shitty DMCA system, their automated claims and all this copyright nonsense, with the advertising friendliness and the restricted mode, etc, etc. And you are abusing this. You are taking this and you are using it to your benefit to shut up people who are talking bad about your questionable business decisions. This is absolutely scummy behavior. I was really thinking about coming back to World of Tanks because I thought the new changes were actually pretty cool. But seeing how this same kind of crap that you pulled 2 years ago is still going on, yeah, I'm going to wash my hands of you guys and never look back. I honestly don't believe you. Your apology rings entirely hollow if you put it against the shit that was said in the chat with SirFoch. Telling someone to their face that you're going to go to YouTube directly and copyright strike the shit out of them, which everyone who does YouTube content knows is a thing that people do all the time anyway, is not something you say by mistake. And I've also decided that I'm going to take down all of my World of Warships videos. I really hate taking down videos because I kind of just want to archive them for all eternity, you know, for people to see how shitty I was 2.5 years ago and how much my content has improved since then. But you know what? I would rather delete 50, 60 videos or however many I made for World of Warships then have even a single person look at those videos today and give you money because of them, because it is absolutely undeserved. You don't want content creators telling people the honest truth about your games? Fine, be that way. Try to have your cadre of loyal community contributors who do exactly what you want them to do, but I'm not going to be part of it. So the only video I'm going to leave up is the one that I'm linking in the description, which is the one telling you why I'm stopping World of Warships content. Because interestingly, pretty much everything I say in that video is still the case even 2 years after this video was made. So there's that. Alright guys, that's my little Saturday rant. I will now go back to working on my historically speaking for a game that actually deserves content made for it. If you enjoyed this little rant, please consider liking the video and also consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't. Do also check out my streaming goodness at twitch.tv/CloakingDonkey, where I stream pretty damn regularly. But until then, I've been the CloakingDonkey and I'll see you in another video!